Our wedding day was like a dream come true. The sun was shining, the flowers were in full bloom, and Kate looked like an angel in her white dress. I remember standing at the altar, my heart pounding with excitement and love, believing that this moment marked the beginning of our happily ever after. But life has a way of surprising you, of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. I started noticing the first signs of trouble about a year ago. Kate began working late more often, claiming that her job at the marketing firm was demanding more of her time. At first I believed her. Why wouldn't I? We had built our relationship on trust and honesty. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a Friday evening, and I had just put our kids to bed when the phone rang. The caller ID showed James, one of Kate's colleagues. He sounded casual as he asked to speak to her, mentioning something about the weekend they spent together at a corporate retreat. My heart skipped a beat. Kate had told me she was at a team-building seminar, but she never mentioned James or any other male colleagues. That night, I found myself unable to sleep. My mind raced with questions and doubts. The next morning, as Kate was in the shower, I noticed a man's ring on her nightstand. It wasn't mine. My heart sank as I picked it up, feeling the cold metal against my skin. Was this a sign? Was she cheating on me? Unable to confront her directly, I started gathering evidence. I checked her phone when she wasn't looking, and I saw messages from James that were too friendly, too intimate for colleagues. I felt a knot in my stomach tighten with each new piece of information I uncovered. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I confronted Kate one evening, my voice trembling with anger and hurt. She didn't deny it. She admitted to having an affair with James, but she insisted it was a one-time mistake, something meaningless. Her words felt like knives stabbing into my heart. How could she do this to us, to our family? The shock and pain were unbearable. I wanted to scream, to break something, but I held back for the sake of our children. I couldn't let them see their father falling apart. Then, something unexpected happened. At a work event, I met Alexa, a stunning woman with a magnetic presence. There was an instant connection between us, something I hadn't felt in years. It was like a spark igniting a fire that I thought had long since died out. Our meetings became more frequent and more intense. We started having secret rendezvous, using business trips as a cover. Each moment with Alexa felt like a sweet revenge, a way to reclaim the power and control that Kate had taken from me. I left small hints around the house, subtle clues of my infidelity, knowing Kate would find them. When she finally did, her reaction was explosive. She accused me of betraying her, of destroying our family. I stood my ground, confessing that I had indeed sought solace in another woman's arms. I told her that I wanted her to feel the same pain she had inflicted on me. The confrontation was brutal, but it was also cathartic. For the first time in months, I felt a strange sense of peace. Kate was devastated, realizing the depth of her betrayal and the extent of my hurt. We decided to take a break, to reevaluate our relationship and our future. I started seeing a therapist to help me navigate my emotions and understand what I truly wanted. Kate did the same, hoping to repair the damage and rebuild the trust we had lost. In the end, we chose to live separately, to give each other the space we needed to heal. It wasn't the happily ever after I had envisioned, but it was a new beginning, a chance to move forward with a clearer understanding of ourselves and each other. As I looked back on that fateful day, I realized that sometimes the only way to truly find yourself is to first lose everything you thought you knew. The first crack in the foundation of our marriage appeared subtly, almost imperceptibly. It started with Kate working late more frequently. Her job at the marketing firm had always been demanding, but now it seemed to consume her. She would come home exhausted, her eyes tired, her smile forced. I chalked it up to the pressures of her job, telling myself that this phase would pass. But as weeks turned into months, her absences became more pronounced. She missed family dinners, skipped our kids' school events, and even started taking her work calls in a hushed tone, as if she didn't want me to hear. My suspicions grew, but I tried to silence them, not wanting to believe that my wife could be unfaithful. One evening, as we sat in the living room, I brought up my concerns. "Kate, is everything okay at work? You've been so distant lately." She sighed, her eyes avoiding mine. "It's just a busy period, Alex. Lots of new projects and deadlines. I promise it will get better." I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. But something in her tone felt off, insincere. The next few days I watched her more closely, looking for any sign, any clue that could explain her behavior. It was on a quiet Tuesday night when I received an unexpected phone call from James, one of Kate's colleagues. "Hey Alex, can I talk to Kate for a minute? I need to clarify something about the retreat this weekend." "Retreat?" I asked, my heart racing. "What retreat?" James hesitated, clearly confused. "The corporate retreat she attended last weekend? She didn't mention it?" "No, she didn't," I replied, struggling to keep my voice steady. "I'll get her for you." As I handed the phone to Kate, her face turned pale. She took the call, her voice a mix of irritation and nervousness. After she hung up, I confronted her. "Why didn't you tell me about the retreat?" She sighed, running her fingers through her hair. "It was a last-minute thing, Alex. I didn't think it was important." "Not important?" I echoed, disbelief coloring my words. "You were gone all weekend and you didn't think to mention it?" Her eyes flashed with anger. "I'm sorry if I forgot to inform you about every little detail of my life. I'm under a lot of stress, okay?" The argument ended with her storming off to our bedroom, slamming the door behind her. I sat on the couch, my mind swirling with doubts. The retreat, the late nights, the secretive phone calls. It all pointed to something I couldn't ignore. Over the next few weeks, my suspicions grew. I started checking her phone when she wasn't around, searching for any clue that could confirm my fears. That's when I found the messages. They were from James, and they were far from professional. Flirty and intimate, they spoke of stolen moments and secret rendezvous. My heart sank as I realized the truth. Kate was having an affair. The confrontation was inevitable. One evening, I waited for her to come home, my heart pounding with a mix of anger and hurt. When she walked through the door, I showed her the messages. "Care to explain this, Kate?" Her face turned white, her eyes wide with shock. "Alex, I can explain." "Explain what?" I snapped. "That you've been cheating on me? That you've been lying to my face every day?" Tears welled up in her eyes, and she finally broke down, admitting everything. "Yes, I slept with James. It was a mistake, Alex. I swear it meant nothing." "Nothing?" I echoed, my voice breaking. "How could you do this to us, to our family?" Her tears flowed freely, but they did little to soothe my anger. I felt betrayed, shattered, as if the woman I had loved for so many years was suddenly a stranger. The pain was unbearable, but amidst it all, a dark thought began to take root in my mind. If she could do this to me, maybe I could do the same to her. Thus began my journey down a path I never thought I would tread, the path of revenge. The confrontation with Kate left me emotionally wrecked. I spent days in a haze, trying to make sense of the betrayal, grappling with the urge to retaliate. The pain was raw, searing through every moment of my life, making it hard to focus on anything else. Then, fate intervened. My company hosted an annual gala, an event I had little interest in attending, but I needed the distraction, something to pull me out of the darkness consuming me. I put on my best suit and forced a smile, hoping the evening would pass quickly. As I navigated through the crowded ballroom, making polite conversation with colleagues, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned to see a woman with striking features and an air of confidence that was impossible to ignore. "Hi, I'm Alexa," she introduced herself, extending a hand. "We haven't met before, have we?" Her smile was warm, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. I shook her hand, trying to hide my surprise. "No, I don't think we have. I'm Alex." For a moment we stood there, the noise of the party fading into the background. There was something about her that drew me in, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. We started talking, our conversation flowing effortlessly. She was smart, funny, and had an infectious energy that made it hard to look away. As the night wore on, we found ourselves drifting away from the main event, seeking the quiet corners of the venue. We talked about everything: work, life, dreams, and regrets. It was refreshing to connect with someone who seemed to understand the complexities of my emotions without judgment. At one point, I found myself confessing more than I had intended. "My wife cheated on me," I admitted, the words heavy with pain. "I found out recently, and it's been difficult." Alexa's expression softened with empathy. "I'm so sorry, Alex. That must be incredibly hard to deal with." "It is," I nodded, feeling a lump in my throat. "I don't know what to do." Part of me wants to make her feel the same pain she caused me. She placed a reassuring hand on my arm. Revenge might bring some temporary satisfaction, but it won't heal the hurt. Trust me, I've been there. Her words resonated with me, but the bitterness inside was too strong to ignore. As the night came to an end, we exchanged numbers, promising to keep in touch. I left the gala feeling a strange mix of emotions, a spark of hope amidst the lingering pain. Over the next few weeks, Alexa and I grew closer. We met for coffee, had long phone conversations, and shared more about our lives. There was an undeniable chemistry between us, something that made me feel alive again. But beneath the surface, my desire for revenge simmered. One evening during a particularly vulnerable moment, I kissed her. It was impulsive, driven by a need to escape my anguish. She kissed me back, and in that instant I felt a surge of satisfaction, a sense of reclaiming power over my life. We began a secret affair, meeting in hidden places, away from prying eyes. Each rendezvous with Alexa was a mix of passion and guilt, a temporary escape from the reality of my crumbling marriage. I left subtle hints around the house, a lipstick mark on my shirt, a whiff of unfamiliar perfume, knowing Kate would eventually find them. When she finally did, her reaction was explosive. She confronted me, her face contorted with anger and betrayal. "Who is she, Alex? Who have you been seeing?" I met her gaze, feeling a cold detachment. "Her name is Alexa, and yes, I've been cheating on you." Her eyes filled with tears, but there was also a flash of understanding. "This is your revenge, isn't it? For what I did to you?" "Yes," I admitted, my voice steady. "I wanted you to feel the same pain, to understand what it means to be betrayed by someone you love." The room was filled with a heavy silence as she processed my words. Finally, she spoke, her voice trembling. "I deserve this, don't I?" I didn't answer, unable to offer her any solace. In that moment, I realized that while my revenge had brought a fleeting sense of satisfaction, it had also deepened the chasm between us. We were two broken people, each trying to hurt the other in a desperate attempt to heal. And so the cycle of pain continued, leaving us both to question if there was any way to find redemption amidst the ruins of our marriage. In the days that followed our confrontation, the house felt like a war zone. The air was thick with tension, every conversation a potential landmine. Kate and I avoided each other as much as possible, retreating to separate corners of our fractured home. Despite the chaos, I couldn't deny the grim satisfaction I felt. I had leveled the playing field and made her taste the bitterness of betrayal. But it was a hollow victory. The pleasure of revenge quickly faded, leaving me with an even deeper sense of emptiness. One night as I sat alone in the living room nursing a glass of whiskey, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Alexa. "Can we talk? I feel like something's changed." I hesitated before replying, unsure of what to say. Our affair had been a whirlwind of emotions, but now it felt like an escape I no longer needed. I agreed to meet her, hoping to find some clarity. We met at a quiet cafe downtown, away from the prying eyes of colleagues and neighbors. Alexa looked beautiful, as always, but there was a sadness in her eyes that mirrored my own. "Alex, I've been thinking," she began, her voice soft. "What we have, it's not healthy. We're both using each other to cope with our pain, and that's not fair to either of us." I nodded, feeling a lump form in my throat. "I know, I never meant to hurt you, Alexa. You've been amazing, but I can't keep living like this. It's not fair to anyone." She reached across the table, taking my hand in hers. "Maybe we both need to focus on healing ourselves first. Figure out what we want and need." Her words hit home. I realized that in my quest for revenge, I had lost sight of what truly mattered, my well-being and the future of my family. We parted ways with a bittersweet goodbye, knowing that it was the right thing to do. Back at home, I found Kate sitting on the edge of our bed, her eyes red from crying. She looked up as I entered the room, her expression a mix of sorrow and determination. "Alex, we can't keep doing this," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We're destroying each other, and it's not helping anyone." I sat down beside her, feeling the weight of our shared pain. "I know. This isn't what I wanted, Kate, but I didn't know how else to cope with what you did." She took a deep breath, her hands trembling. "I made a terrible mistake, and I'm so sorry for the hurt I've caused. But we need to decide if we can move past this or if it's time to let go." Her words hung in the air, heavy with the gravity of our situation. We spent the next few hours talking, really talking, for the first time in months. We laid everything bare, our fears, our regrets, our hopes for the future. In the end, we came to a difficult decision. We needed to take a break, to give each other the space to heal and reflect on what we truly wanted. It wasn't a definitive end, but a pause, a chance to find ourselves again. I moved into a small apartment nearby, close enough to see the kids regularly, but far enough to give Kate and me the distance we needed. It was strange living alone after so many years of marriage, but it also felt necessary. During this time, I focused on therapy, trying to untangle the complex emotions that had driven me to such extremes. I confronted my anger, my pain, and my role in the disintegration of our marriage. It was a long, difficult process, but bit by bit, I started to feel more like myself again. Kate did the same, seeking help to understand her actions and the impact they had on our family. We communicated occasionally, updating each other on our progress, but we kept our distance, respecting the boundaries we had set. Months passed, and slowly the wounds began to heal. We were still two broken people, but we were also stronger and more self-aware. The path ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, I felt a glimmer of hope. We had a long way to go, but maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for redemption. A chance to rebuild our lives, whether together or apart, with a deeper understanding of who we were and what we needed to be happy. Moving into the small apartment was a surreal experience. The echo of silence was both a comfort and a reminder of the void left by Kate's absence. I set up a modest living space, focusing on creating a place where I could reflect and heal. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Every morning I woke up to the sound of my alarm, a stark contrast to the chaotic symphony of family life I was used to. The apartment was filled with a sense of emptiness, but also a strange kind of peace. It was here, in this quiet solitude, that I began to confront the turmoil within me. I enrolled in therapy sessions with Dr. Mitchell, a seasoned therapist with a calm demeanor and a knack for cutting through my defenses. Our sessions were intense, often leaving me emotionally drained, but they were also cathartic. I began to understand the depths of my anger, my pain, and the unresolved issues that had contributed to the breakdown of my marriage. Alex, healing is a process, Dr. Mitchell often reminded me. It's about acknowledging your pain, understanding it, and then finding ways to move beyond it. During these sessions, I dug deep into my past, uncovering wounds I had long buried. My father's infidelity, my mother's bitterness, all these pieces of my history shaped the man I had become. Understanding this helped me see my actions in a new light, not as justifications, but as a path to forgiveness, both for Kate and for myself. Kate, on her part, was undergoing her journey. We kept our communication minimal but respectful, focusing on the children and necessary logistical details. I could see the toll this was taking on her as well. She was trying to make amends, attending therapy, and working hard to regain some semblance of stability. One weekend, when it was my turn with the kids, we went to a nearby park. Watching them play, their laughter filling the air, I felt a pang of regret. This was the family I had fought so hard to protect, and yet, here we were, shattered and trying to piece ourselves back together. "Dad, can we get ice cream?" my son Ethan asked, his eyes wide with hope. "Of course, buddy," I replied, ruffling his hair. "Let's go find the ice cream truck." As we walked, my daughter Lily took my hand. "Do you think Mom will come with us next time?" Her question hit me hard. I knelt to her level, looking into her innocent eyes. "I don't know, sweetheart, but I promise we'll always have fun together, no matter what." That evening, after I dropped the kids off at Kate's, she and I shared a brief, awkward conversation. There was no animosity, just a mutual understanding that we were both trying to navigate this difficult period as best as we could. "How are you holding up?" I asked, genuinely concerned. She sighed, her eyes weary. "It's been hard, but I'm trying. Therapy is helping, I think. How about you?" "Same here," I nodded. "Dr. Mitchell is a miracle worker." A faint smile crossed her lips. "I'm glad. Maybe one day we can talk about all this, really talk, without the anger and hurt." "Maybe," I agreed, feeling a glimmer of hope. "For now, let's just take it one day at a time." As the weeks turned into months, our lives settled into a new rhythm. I focused on my healing, diving into hobbies I had long neglected, reading, jogging, and even cooking. It was a strange kind of liberation, rediscovering parts of myself that had been overshadowed by the demands of family life. Kate and I continued to co-parent, slowly rebuilding a foundation of mutual respect. It wasn't easy, and there were moments of frustration and sorrow, but there were also moments of clarity and connection. We were learning to be individuals again, to find strength within ourselves rather than in each other. One evening, as I sat on my balcony looking out at the city lights, I realized how far I had come. The pain of Kate's betrayal was still there, but it was no longer an open wound. It had become a part of my story, a chapter in the journey of my life. The pause had been necessary, a time for reflection and growth. I didn't know what the future held for Kate and me, whether we would find our way back to each other or continue down separate paths. But for the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of peace, a belief that whatever happened, I would be okay. And that was enough. Months passed since Kate and I decided to take a break. The initial shock of living apart had given way to a new routine, one that allowed both of us to focus on our healing. As the days turned into weeks, I found solace in the simplicity of my new life. Therapy continued to be a cornerstone of my recovery. Dr. Mitchell pushed me to confront my deepest fears and insecurities, guiding me through the murky waters of my emotions. One day, during a particularly intense session, she posed a question that struck a chord. "Alex, what does forgiveness look like for you?" I sat in silence, contemplating her words. Forgiveness had always seemed like a distant concept, something unattainable in the wake of Kate's betrayal. But as I thought about it, I realized that forgiveness wasn't about excusing her actions. It was about freeing myself from the burden of resentment. "I think it's about letting go," I finally replied. "Letting go of the anger, the pain, and the need for revenge. It's about finding peace within myself." Dr. Mitchell smiled, a look of approval in her eyes. "That's a profound realization, Alex. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, not to the person who hurt you." Armed with this new perspective, I began to work on forgiving Kate. It wasn't an overnight process. It required patience and a willingness to face my vulnerabilities. But as I gradually released the bitterness, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Kate and I continued to communicate, albeit cautiously. Our conversations became more civil and less charged with emotion. We focused on co-parenting, ensuring that Ethan and Lily felt loved and supported despite the changes in our family dynamic. One weekend, while the kids were with me, we decided to go on a camping trip. It was something we used to do as a family, and I wanted to create new memories with them. As we set up the tent and gathered around the campfire, I felt a sense of contentment that had eluded me for so long. "Dad, can we roast marshmallows?" Ethan asked, his eyes lighting up with excitement. "Of course," I replied, handing him a stick. "Let's make the best s'mores ever." As we sat by the fire, roasting marshmallows and telling stories, I realized how important these moments were. They were a reminder that life goes on, and that happiness can be found even amid hardship. Later that night, after the kids had fallen asleep, I sat by the fire, reflecting on how far we had come. The journey wasn't over, but I felt more equipped to handle whatever lay ahead. The next day, as we packed up and headed home, I received a text from Kate. "Hope you guys had a great time. Missed the camping trips." I hesitated before replying. "We did. Maybe one day we can all go together again." Her response was swift. "I'd like that." It was a small step, but it felt significant. We were slowly rebuilding a bridge, one conversation at a time. There was still a lot of work to be done, but I began to believe that reconciliation was possible, even if it looked different from what I had imagined. Back at the apartment, I continued to focus on my personal growth. I took up running, finding it therapeutic to push my physical limits and clear my mind. I also started cooking more, experimenting with new recipes, and enjoying the process of creating something from scratch. One evening, after a particularly satisfying meal, I sat down to write in my journal, a habit I had picked up in therapy. I wrote about my progress, my hopes, and my fears. As I put pen to paper, I felt a sense of clarity that had been absent for so long. I realized that healing wasn't a destination, but a journey. It was about embracing the ups and downs, learning from the past, and moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose. It was about finding strength in vulnerability and courage in forgiveness. As I closed my journal, I felt a newfound sense of optimism. The path ahead was still uncertain, but I was ready to face it with an open heart. For the first time in a long while, I felt truly hopeful about the future, for myself, for Kate, and for our family, and that hope was enough to keep me going. Time continued to pass, and with it, the raw edges of my pain began to smooth. My therapy sessions with Dr. Mitchell remained a steady anchor, guiding me through the labyrinth of emotions that came with healing and self-discovery. I started to see my situation not just as a series of events, but as a journey that was shaping me into a stronger, more self-aware person. One evening, after an especially enlightening session, I found myself reflecting on the notion of redemption. Dr. Mitchell encouraged me to think about what it meant to truly forgive and be forgiven, and how this could lead to personal growth. As I pondered her words, I realized that I needed to confront Kate, not with anger or accusations, but with a genuine desire to understand and heal. I reached out to her, suggesting we meet at a neutral place to talk. She agreed, and we chose a small cafe downtown, a place filled with memories from happier times. As I walked in, I saw her sitting by the window, her face a mixture of apprehension and hope. "Hi, Kate," I greeted her, taking a seat across from her. "Hi, Alex," she replied softly. "Thank you for suggesting this." We sat in silence for a few moments, both gathering our thoughts. Finally, I spoke. "Kate, I want to understand. What happened between us? How did we get here?" She looked down, her eyes welling with tears. "I don't know where to start, Alex. I was overwhelmed, feeling disconnected from everything, including you. James he was an escape, a way to feel something again." Her honesty stung, but it also brought clarity. "Why didn't you talk to me about how you were feeling?" "I was afraid," she admitted. "Afraid of your reaction. Afraid that you would see me as weak. I thought I could handle it on my own, but I was wrong." We talked for hours, delving into the issues that had driven us apart. It was painful, but it was also cathartic. For the first time, we were both completely honest about our fears, our failures, and our hopes. "I've been seeing a therapist," she said, Dr. Ryan. "She's helped me realize a lot about myself, about why I made the choices I did. I'm truly sorry, Alex. I know I hurt you deeply, and I don't expect you to forgive me easily." "I appreciate your honesty, Kate," I replied. "I've been in therapy too, and it's helped me see things more clearly. I think we both made mistakes and we both have a lot of healing to do." We continued to meet regularly, each conversation peeling back another layer of our complicated relationship. Slowly, we began to rebuild trust, not just as spouses, but as individuals who had once deeply cared for each other. One weekend, during one of our co-parenting exchanges, Kate suggested we all spend the day together, a family outing. I hesitated, unsure if we were ready for that step, but the kids' excitement convinced me to give it a try. We went to a local amusement park, a place filled with laughter and joy. Watching Ethan and Lily's faces light up as they enjoyed the rides brought a sense of normalcy I hadn't felt in a long time. Kate and I worked together seamlessly, sharing smiles and brief moments of connection. As the day came to a close, we found ourselves sitting on a bench, watching the sunset. "This was nice," Kate said, her voice filled with a mixture of contentment and nostalgia. "Yeah, it was," I agreed. "Maybe we can do this more often." She nodded, a hopeful glimmer in her eyes. "I'd like that." Our journey was far from over, but for the first time, we were walking a path of mutual understanding and respect. We had learned to communicate better and to be more attuned to each other's needs and emotions. One evening, as I sat in my apartment reflecting on our progress, I received a text from Kate. "Can we talk?" I called her, and she answered almost immediately. "Alex, I've been thinking, would you consider couples therapy? I think it could help us navigate the road ahead, whether we decide to stay together or not." I paused, considering her suggestion. It was a big step, one that required courage and a willingness to face our deepest issues together. "Yes, Kate, I think that could be a good idea." We started couples therapy, committing to work through our issues with the guidance of a professional. It was challenging, but it also brought us closer, helping us understand the dynamics of our relationship and how to rebuild it on a stronger foundation. As we continued this journey, I realized that healing wasn't just about moving past the pain, but about growing from it. We were learning to be better partners, better parents, and better individuals. For the first time, I saw a future where we could coexist peacefully, whether as a couple or as friends. The path to healing was long and winding, but we were on it together, and that was all that mattered. Couples therapy proved to be an enlightening, albeit challenging, experience. Dr. Carter, our therapist, had a calm yet firm approach, guiding us through difficult conversations and helping us navigate the complex emotions that had built up over the years. Every session was a step towards rebuilding the trust and understanding that had been shattered. One of the most significant breakthroughs came during a session where Dr. Carter asked us to express our deepest fears and hopes for our relationship. Kate spoke first, her voice trembling with vulnerability. "I'm afraid that I'll never be able to make up for the hurt I've caused," she admitted, tears streaming down her face. "But I hope that we can find a way to forgive each other and build a stronger foundation for the future." Her words resonated with me, echoing my fears and hopes. When it was my turn, I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of my emotions. "I'm afraid that the pain will always be there, that it will haunt us forever. But I hope that through this process, we can heal and maybe even find a way back to each other." Dr. Carter nodded, her expression encouraging. "It's important to acknowledge these fears and hopes. They are the stepping stones towards rebuilding your relationship. Healing takes time, but you're both showing a willingness to work through it together." As we left the session, I felt a sense of cautious optimism. Kate and I were making progress, slowly but surely. Our interactions at home became more amicable, filled with small gestures of kindness and understanding. We began to share more about our daily lives, finding comfort in the simple act of communicating openly. One weekend, we decided to take the kids to a nearby beach. It was a spontaneous decision, driven by a desire to create new, positive memories as a family. As we drove to the coast, the kids chattered excitedly in the back seat, their enthusiasm infectious. The day at the beach was nothing short of magical. We built sandcastles, played frisbee, and splashed in the waves. For a few precious hours, the weight of our troubles seemed to lift, replaced by the joy of being together. Watching Ethan and Lily's laughter and smiles reminded us of the importance of these moments. In the evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, we sat on the sand, the kids exhausted and content beside us. Kate turned to me, her eyes reflecting the fading light. "Thank you for today, Alex. It was perfect." I smiled, feeling a warmth in my chest that had been absent for so long. "It was. We should do this more often." As the days turned into weeks, our efforts to rebuild continued. We worked on our communication, addressing issues as they arose rather than letting them fester. We also made a conscious effort to spend quality time together, rediscovering the things that had brought us together in the first place. One evening while we were having dinner, Kate surprised me with a question. "Alex, do you remember the first time we went hiking together?" I nodded, a smile tugging at my lips. "Of course. It was our third date, and you insisted on taking the harder trail. I thought I was going to die." She laughed, a genuine heartfelt sound. "And you still went along with it. That was when I knew you were special." Her words brought a lump to my throat. "I remember thinking how amazing you were, so full of life and adventure. I wanted to be a part of that." We sat in silence for a moment, the memories washing over us. It was a reminder of the bond we had shared, the love that had once been so strong. It gave me hope that, despite everything, we could find our way back to that place. In therapy, we continued to address the deeper issues that had plagued our relationship. We explored our pasts, understanding how our individual experiences had shaped our actions and reactions. It was a painful but necessary process, one that brought us closer as we learned to empathize with each other. Through this journey, I realized that healing wasn't about erasing the past, but about learning from it and growing stronger. It was about finding forgiveness, not just for Kate, but for myself as well. I needed to let go of the guilt and resentment, to embrace the possibility of a brighter future. Kate, too, was making strides in her healing. She became more open about her feelings, sharing her struggles and fears. It was a vulnerability that I had longed for, and it brought us closer together. One evening, as we sat on the couch, watching a movie with the kids, Kate turned to me and whispered, "I love you, Alex. I never stopped." Her words took me by surprise, but they also filled me with a sense of peace. I love you too, Kate. We'll get through this. Together. As the credits rolled on the screen, I felt a renewed sense of hope. Our journey was far from over, but we were building bridges, one step at a time. We were learning to trust again, to love again. And that, more than anything, gave me the strength to keep moving forward. At that moment, I knew that whatever the future held, we would face it together, with open hearts and a shared commitment to healing and growth. It wasn't the end of our story, but a new beginning, filled with the promise of what could be. The renewed sense of connection between Kate and me felt fragile, yet promising. As we navigated this delicate phase of our relationship, we both understood the importance of continuing to rebuild trust and intimacy. The journey was ongoing, and we were committed to rediscovering each other, one day at a time. One Friday evening, I suggested a date night, something we hadn't done in a long while. Kate's eyes lit up at the idea, and we decided to visit the Italian restaurant where we had our first date. It felt symbolic, a nod to our past, and a hopeful glance toward our future. As we sat at a cozy corner table, the familiar sense of garlic and basil filling the air, a wave of nostalgia washed over us. "Do you remember how nervous we were that night?" Kate asked with a smile. I chuckled. "I do. You kept playing with your napkin, and I was trying to impress you with my terrible Italian pronunciation." She laughed, the sound warm and genuine. "And I thought it was endearing. It still is." The conversation flowed effortlessly, reminiscent of the early days of our relationship. We talked about our dreams, our fears, and the little moments that had shaped our lives together. It was as if we were peeling away the layers of hurt and rediscovering the love that had always been there, buried beneath the pain. After dinner, we took a walk through the park nearby. The night was cool, and the stars twinkled above us. We strolled hand in hand, enjoying the simple pleasure of each other's company. As we sat on a bench, Kate rested her head on my shoulder, and I felt a sense of peace that had eluded me for so long. "Alex," she said softly, "I'm so grateful we're finding our way back to each other. I know it hasn't been easy, but it feels right." I kissed the top of her head, holding her close. "It does. And I'm grateful too, Kate. We've come a long way, and I believe we can build something even stronger." Our date night became a regular ritual, a time dedicated to reconnecting and nurturing our relationship. We explored new restaurants, attended concerts, and even took a weekend trip to the mountains, where we hiked the trails we had once enjoyed together. Each experience brought us closer, reminding us of the bond we had shared and the potential for a brighter future. At home, we continued to work on our communication. We set aside time each week to discuss our feelings, our progress, and any challenges we faced. These conversations were sometimes difficult, but they were essential in rebuilding our trust and understanding. One evening, after putting the kids to bed, we sat on the porch with a glass of wine, reflecting on our journey. "Do you ever think about what might have happened if we hadn't gone through all this?" Kate asked, her voice contemplative. "Sometimes," I admitted. "But I believe everything happens for a reason. We've grown so much, both individually and together. Maybe we needed this to become the people we are now." She nodded, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and hope. "I agree. It's been a painful journey, but it's also been transformative. I'm learning to forgive myself, to forgive us." "Me too," I said, squeezing her hand. "And I'm learning to appreciate what we have now, the strength we found in each other." Our children also played a significant role in our healing process. We made a conscious effort to spend quality time as a family, creating new traditions and strengthening our bond. Whether it was a game night, a weekend getaway, or simply reading stories together before bed, these moments brought joy and a sense of unity to our lives. One Saturday morning, while making pancakes with Ethan and Lily, I realized how much we had all changed. The kids were resilient, adapting to our new normal with grace and positivity. They reminded us daily of the importance of love, forgiveness, and moving forward. As the months went by, the wounds of the past began to heal, replaced by a deeper understanding and appreciation for each other. Kate and I continued to attend couples therapy, determined to address any lingering issues and to build a solid foundation for our future. During one session, Dr. Carter posed a question that resonated deeply with both of us. "What does a successful future look like for you as a couple?" We looked at each other, a silent understanding passing between us. A successful future means continuing to grow together, I said. It's about being honest, supportive, and committed to our relationship, no matter what challenges we face. Kate nodded, her eyes shining with determination. It's about never taking each other for granted and always making time for us. It's about love, trust, and the willingness to keep working on ourselves and our relationship. Dr. Carter smiled, her approval evident. That's a beautiful vision. Remember, the journey of healing and growth is ongoing. As long as you stay committed to each other, you can overcome anything. As we left the session, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and hope. We were on the right path, and while it wasn't always easy, it was worth every effort. Kate and I had rediscovered the love that had brought us together in the first place, and we were determined to nurture it and let it flourish. In the quiet moments, when we sat together reflecting on our journey, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. We had faced our darkest days and emerged stronger, more united. The future was still unwritten, but we were ready to face it together, hand in hand, with love and resilience guiding our way. The progress Kate and I were making brought a renewed sense of hope, but the journey was not without its setbacks. The road to healing is often winding, and sometimes the past resurfaces in ways we least expect. One such moment came when I ran into James, the man who had been the catalyst for much of our pain. It happened on an ordinary afternoon. I was at the grocery store, picking up a few items for dinner when I saw him. He was standing in the produce section, casually inspecting a bunch of bananas. My heart raced, anger and bitterness rising within me. I considered walking away, but something compelled me to confront him. "James," I said, my voice steady but firm. He turned a look of surprise and then discomfort crossing his face. "Alex, I didn't expect to see you here." "Yeah, well, life's full of surprises," I replied, trying to keep my emotions in check. "Can we talk?" He glanced around, then nodded. "Sure." We moved to a quieter corner of the store. The tension was palpable, and I could see he was as uneasy as I was. "Look, I don't want to cause a scene," I began, "but I need to understand something. Why did you do it? Why Kate?" James sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "It wasn't planned, Alex. We were both in a bad place, feeling neglected and misunderstood. It just happened." "That's not an excuse," I said, my voice rising slightly. "You knew she was married. You knew she had a family." He looked down, shame evident in his expression. "I know, and I'm sorry. I regret it every day. If I could take it back, I would." I took a deep breath, trying to process his words. "Did you ever think about the consequences? About how it would affect everyone involved?" "Of course I did," he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "But by the time I realized how far it had gone, it was too late. I'm truly sorry, Alex, for everything." His eyes were sincere, and I couldn't ignore them. It didn't erase the pain, but it brought a sense of closure. "I appreciate your apology," I said, "but this isn't just about you. It's about my family, my marriage. We're trying to rebuild, to move forward." "I understand," he said, "and I hope you can." "I do." As I walked away, I felt a strange mixture of emotions. Confronting James had been difficult, but it also brought a sense of clarity. I realized that holding on to anger wouldn't help me heal. Forgiveness didn't mean excusing his actions, but it did mean letting go of the resentment that had been eating away at me. When I got home, I found Kate in the kitchen preparing dinner. She looked up and smiled, but her smile faded when she saw my expression. "Alex, what's wrong?" "I ran into James," I said, watching her reaction. Her eyes widened, and she set down the knife she was holding. "What happened?" "We talked. I confronted him about what happened. He apologized." Kate's shoulders sagged with relief. "I'm glad. I know that must have been hard for you." "It was," I admitted. "But it was also necessary. I needed to hear it from him, to understand why it happened." She stepped closer, taking my hand. "And how do you feel now?" "Relieved, I guess," I said. "It doesn't change what happened, but it helps to know that he regrets it. And it made me realize that holding on to anger won't help us move forward." She squeezed my hand, her eyes filled with understanding. "I'm proud of you, Alex, for confronting him and for finding the strength to forgive." We stood there for a moment, holding each other, finding comfort in our shared strength. The encounter with James had been a turning point, a reminder that healing was about letting go of the past and focusing on the future. Over the next few weeks, our progress continued. We remained committed to our therapy sessions, both individually and as a couple. We also made time for ourselves, rekindling the romance that had once defined our relationship. One evening, while we were sitting on the porch, watching the sunset, Kate turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Alex, do you think we'll ever truly move past this?" I took her hand, feeling the warmth of her touch. "I think we'll always carry the memories with us. But I also believe that we've become stronger because of it. We've learned to communicate better and to appreciate each other more. We're not the same people we were before, and that's okay." She smiled, leaning her head on my shoulder. "You're right. We've come so far, and I'm grateful for every step we've taken together." As the sun dipped below the horizon, I felt a sense of peace. Our journey was far from over, but we were facing it together, armed with the lessons we had learned and the love that had survived. The future was still uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, I felt confident that we could handle whatever came our way. We had confronted our past, found clarity in our present, and were ready to embrace the possibilities of the future. And that, more than anything, gave me hope. The weeks following my confrontation with James were transformative. There was a newfound sense of clarity and purpose in our lives. Kate and I continued to grow closer, and our bond strengthened with each passing day. We were determined to leave the past behind and focus on building a better future together. One sunny Saturday morning, I decided to take the kids on a surprise trip to the zoo. It was something we used to do often before everything went awry, and I wanted to bring back some of those happy memories. Kate joined us, and the excitement in Ethan and Lily's eyes was contagious. "Look, Dad, the lions!" Ethan shouted, pointing eagerly at the majestic animals lounging in the sun. Lily tugged at Kate's hand. "Mom, can we see the penguins next?" "Of course, sweetheart," Kate replied with a smile. "Let's make our way over there." As we wandered through the zoo, taking in the sights and sounds, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of contentment. This was what family was about, being together, sharing joy, and creating memories. Later, as we sat down for a picnic lunch, I watched Kate interact with the kids. There was a lightness in her demeanor, a genuine happiness that had been missing for so long. It reminded me of the woman I had fallen in love with all those years ago. After lunch, the kids ran off to play on the nearby playground, leaving Kate and me alone for a moment. We sat in comfortable silence, enjoying the peaceful surroundings. "Today has been wonderful," Kate said softly, turning to me. "Thank you for organizing this." I smiled, taking her hand in mine. "It feels good to do things together as a family again. We needed this." She nodded, her eyes filled with gratitude. "We did, and I want to thank you for everything, Alex, for your patience, your understanding, and your willingness to work through this with me." "It hasn't been easy," I admitted, "but it's been worth it. We're stronger now because of everything we've been through." As we watched Ethan and Lily play, I felt a sense of hope for the future. We were on the path to redemption, and it was clear that our efforts were paying off. Our relationship was no longer defined by the pain of the past, but by the promise of what lay ahead. In the weeks that followed, Kate and I continued to make time for each other. We went on regular date nights, explored new hobbies together, and even started planning a family vacation. These activities helped us reconnect and rediscover the joy of being together. One evening, while we were having dinner, Kate brought up an idea that had been on her mind. "Alex, I've been thinking, what if we renewed our vows? A fresh start, a way to celebrate how far we've come." Her suggestion took me by surprise, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. "I think that's a beautiful idea," I said, feeling a surge of excitement. "It would be a powerful way to reaffirm our commitment to each other." We began planning the vow renewal ceremony, involving the kids in the preparations. It was a family affair, filled with love and anticipation. We decided to hold the ceremony in the same park where we had our first picnic as a couple, a place that held special meaning for us. On the day of the ceremony, the park was adorned with simple, elegant decorations. Our closest friends and family gathered to celebrate with us. As I stood at the makeshift altar, watching Kate walk down the aisle with Ethan and Lily by her side, I felt an overwhelming sense of love and gratitude. Kate looked stunning in a simple white dress, her eyes shining with emotion. When she reached me, we joined hands, and the officiant began the ceremony. Today, we gather to witness the renewal of vows between Alex and Kate, the officiant began. Their journey has been marked by challenges, but also by growth, love, and resilience. They stand before us today stronger and more committed than ever. As we exchanged vows, the words felt more profound than they had on our wedding day. We spoke of forgiveness, of the strength we found in each other, and of our unwavering commitment to building a future together. I promise to love you, to honor you, and to stand by you, no matter what challenges we face, I said, my voice steady. You are my partner, my confidant, and my best friend. Together, we can overcome anything. Tears glistened in Kate's eyes as she repeated her vows. I promise to love you, to support you, and to cherish every moment we share. You are my rock, my heart, and my soul. I am forever grateful for your love and forgiveness. As we exchanged rings, a sense of completion washed over me. This ceremony was more than a renewal of vows. It was a celebration of our journey, a testament to our resilience, and a promise of a brighter future. After the ceremony, we celebrated with our friends and family, enjoying a joyous reception filled with laughter and love. The kids ran around, their happiness infectious, while Kate and I mingled with our guests, grateful for their support. Later that evening, as we sat by the lake watching the sunset, I pulled Kate close. Today was perfect, I said, kissing her softly. It was, she agreed, resting her head on my shoulder. And it's just the beginning. We have so much to look forward to. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I felt a deep sense of peace. We had faced our darkest days and emerged stronger, more united. The path to redemption had not been easy, but it had brought us to this moment, a moment of love, hope, and endless possibilities. Our journey was far from over, but with each step, we were building a future filled with promise. And as long as we had each other, I knew we could overcome anything. The vow renewal ceremony marked a significant turning point for Kate and me. It was a declaration of our commitment to each other and a promise to continue building a future together. As we settled back into our daily lives, we felt a renewed sense of purpose and unity. Our family routines gradually became more harmonious. The kids sensed the change and seemed happier and more at ease. The tension that had once clouded our home was replaced by laughter and warmth. We found joy in the simple moments, cooking dinner together, helping the kids with their homework, and enjoying family movie nights. One evening, as we were preparing dinner, Kate looked at me with a thoughtful expression. Alex, I've been thinking about how far we've come. It's amazing how much we've grown, both individually and as a couple. I nodded, stirring the pasta on the stove. It is. We've faced so many challenges, but we've come out stronger on the other side. She smiled, her eyes reflecting the depth of her emotions. I want to keep building on this foundation. Let's make a list of goals for our family, things we want to achieve together. The idea was a good one, and we spent the next few hours brainstorming and writing down our aspirations. We wanted to travel more, explore new places, and create lasting memories. We also set goals for personal growth, such as taking up new hobbies and continuing our therapy sessions to maintain our mental well-being. As we compiled our list, I felt a sense of excitement and hope. We were actively shaping our future, focusing on positive and fulfilling experiences. One of the first goals we decided to tackle was a family vacation. We chose to visit a national park, a place where we could disconnect from the distractions of daily life and reconnect with nature and each other. The anticipation built as we planned the trip, involving the kids in every step of the process. When the day finally arrived, we packed up the car and set off on our adventure. The drive was filled with music, games, and laughter, a stark contrast to the strained silence that had once dominated our journeys. As we approached the park, the stunning scenery took our breath away, towering trees, pristine lakes, and majestic mountains. We spent our days hiking, exploring, and marveling at the natural beauty around us. The kids were in their element, their faces glowing with excitement and wonder. In the evenings, we gathered around the campfire, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories. It was a simple, yet profoundly enriching experience that brought us closer together. One night, as we sat by the fire, Kate and I reflected on our journey. This trip has been amazing, she said. her voice filled with contentment. It's exactly what we needed. I nodded, feeling a deep sense of peace. It has. Being here away from everything has given us a chance to reconnect and recharge. She took my hand, her gaze steady. I'm so grateful for how far we've come, Alex, and I'm excited about the future. Me too, I replied, squeezing her hand. We've built a strong foundation, and I know we can handle whatever comes our way. As we returned home from the trip, we carried that sense of renewal with us. The experience strengthened our bond and reminded us of the importance of taking time to nurture our relationship and our family. Back in our daily routines, we continued to work on our goals. We joined a local hiking club, signed up for a cooking class together, and made a point to have regular family game nights. Each activity brought us closer, reinforcing the love and trust we had rebuilt. Our therapy sessions also continued to be an essential part of our journey. We discussed our progress, addressed any lingering issues, and celebrated our achievements. Dr. Carter often reminded us that healing was an ongoing process, and our commitment to growth and communication was key to maintaining a healthy relationship. One evening, as we were sitting on the porch enjoying a quiet moment together, Kate turned to me with a thoughtful expression. Alex, there's something I've been wanting to talk to you about. What's on your mind? I asked, curious. I've been thinking about our future, she began. We've come so far, and I'm so grateful for the life we're building. But I also want to make sure we're always honest with each other about our needs and desires. I nodded, understanding her concern. Absolutely. Open communication is crucial. What do you need, Kate? She took a deep breath. I want us to keep growing, to keep exploring new things together. I don't want to fall into old patterns or take each other for granted. Her words resonated with me. I feel the same way. Let's make a pact to always be honest with each other, to always prioritize our relationship. She smiled, her eyes filled with love. Deal. As we sealed our pact with a kiss, I felt a renewed sense of commitment to our journey. The path we had chosen was not an easy one, but it was filled with promise and possibility. We had faced our darkest days and emerged stronger, more united, and ready to embrace the future together. In the months that followed, we continued to grow and evolve as a couple and as a family. We celebrated milestones, supported each other through challenges, and cherished moments of joy and connection. Our new normal was not just about surviving but thriving, creating a life filled with love, laughter, and endless possibilities. And as I looked at the woman by my side, the partner who had shared this incredible journey with me, I knew that together we could face anything. Our story was one of redemption, resilience, and unwavering love, a testament to the power of forgiveness and the strength of the human spirit. The future was bright, and with Kate and our children by my side, I was ready to embrace every moment, every challenge, and every joy that lay ahead. Together, we were unstoppable. The progress we had made as a family brought a sense of peace and fulfillment, but there were still lingering wounds that needed to heal fully. Forgiveness, both for ourselves and for each other, was a journey we were still navigating. Our renewed commitment to growth and open communication was essential, but we knew that confronting our deepest feelings was the key to true healing. One Sunday afternoon, after a particularly enriching family outing, Kate and I decided to sit down for a heart-to-heart conversation. The kids were playing in the yard, their laughter a comforting backdrop, as we settled on the porch with cups of tea. Alex, Kate began, her tone serious yet gentle. I've been thinking a lot about everything we've been through. There's something I need to say. I nodded, bracing myself for whatever was to come. Go on, Kate. She took a deep breath, her eyes meeting mine with unwavering honesty. I want to apologize again, from the bottom of my heart for the pain I caused you. I know I've said it before, but I need you to understand how truly sorry I am. I betrayed your trust, and I can never take that back. But I want to make things right, to continue building the trust we've been working so hard to rebuild. Her words were heartfelt, and I could see the sincerity in her eyes. Kate, I appreciate your apology. It's been a long journey, and I know it hasn't been easy for either of us. I also want to apologize for the way I reacted. My actions, the affair with Alexa, were driven by hurt and anger. I wanted to make you feel the same pain I was feeling, but it wasn't the right way to handle things. She reached out, taking my hand in hers. I understand why you did what you did, Alex. We've both made mistakes, but we're here now, trying to move forward. I forgive you, and I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me too. Tears welled up in my eyes as I squeezed her hand. I do forgive you, Kate, and I hope you can forgive me as well. We're stronger together, and I believe in us. At that moment, we both felt a weight lift off our shoulders. Forgiveness was not just about the words we spoke, but the actions we took moving forward. It was about letting go of the past and embracing the future with open hearts and minds. Our renewed commitment to each other was put to the test when an unexpected challenge arose. Kate received a job offer in another city, a significant career opportunity that she had always dreamed of. The offer was tempting, but it also meant uprooting our family and starting anew. We spent days discussing the pros and cons, weighing the impact it would have on our family. The kids were settled in their school, we had built a strong support system, and our journey of healing was still ongoing. But the opportunity was too significant to ignore. Alex, what do you think we should do? Kate asked one evening, her voice filled with uncertainty. I took a deep breath, considering my response. Kate, this is an amazing opportunity for you, and I want to support your dreams. But we need to make sure it's the right decision for all of us. Maybe we can find a way to make it work without losing what we've built here. She nodded, appreciating my thoughtful approach. I don't want to disrupt our lives, especially after everything we've been through, but I also don't want to pass up this chance. After much deliberation, we decided to take a trip to the new city to explore our options. We visited potential neighborhoods, schools, and Kate's new workplace. The trip was enlightening, giving us a clearer picture of what life could be like if we made the move. One evening, as we sat in a charming cafe in the heart of the city, Kate turned to me with a hopeful expression. Alex, I think we can make this work. The kids seemed excited about the new schools, and the neighborhoods we visited felt welcoming. I nodded, feeling a sense of optimism. I agree, it won't be easy. But if we approach it together, we can make it a positive experience for our family. With that decision made, we began the process of preparing for the move. It was a daunting task, filled with both excitement and apprehension. We involved the kids in the planning, making sure they felt included and heard. Their resilience and enthusiasm were inspiring, reminding us of the strength we had as a family. The weeks leading up to the move were hectic, but they also brought us closer together. We packed up our belongings, reminiscing about the memories we had created in our home. It was a bittersweet process, but it also felt like the start of a new adventure. As we settled into our new home, we made a conscious effort to establish new routines and traditions. We explored the city, finding new favorite spots and making new friends. The kids adapted quickly, their energy and curiosity driving us to embrace our new surroundings with open hearts. Our journey of healing continued, now with a fresh perspective and renewed determination. We faced new challenges, but we did so together, armed with the lessons we had learned and the love that had carried us through the darkest times. One evening, as we sat on the balcony of our new home, watching the city lights twinkle in the distance, Kate turned to me with a contented smile. Alex, I'm so grateful for this new beginning. It's not just a new city, but a new chapter for us. I nodded, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. It's a chance to continue growing, to build on the foundation we've created. I'm excited for what's to come. As we held each other, the future felt bright and full of promise. We had faced our past, found forgiveness, and were now ready to embrace the endless possibilities of our new life. Together, we were unstoppable, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with love, resilience, and unwavering commitment. Our story was one of redemption and growth, a testament to the power of forgiveness and the strength of the human spirit. And as we looked to the future, we knew that whatever came our way, we would face it together, hand in hand with love as our guiding light. Moving to a new city brought a whirlwind of emotions and challenges. The transition wasn't always smooth, but we faced it together, determined to make the most of our fresh start. The kids adjusted well to their new schools, quickly making friends and embracing the change with an enthusiasm that was both inspiring and reassuring. Kate's new job was demanding, but she thrived in her new role. Watching her succeed and find fulfillment in her career made me proud and reinforced our decision to move. However, the demands of her job also tested our resilience as a couple. Long hours and the pressure of her new position sometimes left her exhausted and irritable. One evening, after a particularly long day, Kate came home looking worn out. She dropped her bag by the door and collapsed onto the couch. "Today was brutal," she sighed, rubbing her temples. "I feel like I'm constantly running on empty." I sat down beside her, gently massaging her shoulders. "I know it's tough, but you're doing an amazing job. Just remember to take care of yourself too." She leaned into my touch, closing her eyes. "Thank you, Alex. I don't know what I'd do without your support." "We're in this together," I replied, kissing her forehead. "Let's find a way to balance things better." We decided to prioritize our well-being, making time for relaxation and self-care amidst the chaos. We scheduled regular date nights, even if it was just a quiet dinner at home, and made a point to check in with each other about our needs and feelings. These small but significant efforts helped us maintain our connection and support each other through the challenges of our new life. Despite our best efforts, there were moments of tension and disagreement. One weekend, as we were planning a family outing, a misunderstanding quickly escalated into an argument. "Why didn't you tell me about the change in plans?" I asked, frustration evident in my voice. "I thought I did," Kate replied defensively. "You must not have been listening." "I always listen, Kate," I shot back. "Maybe you weren't clear." The argument left us both feeling hurt and disconnected. Later that evening, after the kids were asleep, we sat down to talk things through. "Alex, I'm sorry for snapping at you," Kate said, her voice soft. "I've been so overwhelmed with work and I took it out on you. It's not fair." I took a deep breath, my anger dissipating. "I'm sorry too. I know you're under a lot of pressure and I should have been more understanding." We held each other, finding comfort in our mutual apology. The argument served as a reminder that communication and empathy were crucial in maintaining our relationship. We resolved to be more mindful of each other's feelings and to support each other through the stress and challenges. Our journey of healing and growth continued, and we found strength in the love and resilience we had cultivated. The move had tested us in ways we hadn't anticipated, but it had also brought us closer together. We learned to navigate the ups and downs with patience and understanding, always keeping our shared goals and dreams in mind. One evening, as we were sitting on the porch enjoying the cool breeze, Kate turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Alex, I've been thinking about our journey, everything we've been through. We've faced so many challenges, but we've come out stronger." I nodded, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "We have, and I'm proud of us for not giving up, for continuing to fight for our family and our future." She smiled, taking my hand in hers. "I love you, Alex. I love the life we're building together." "I love you too, Kate," I replied, squeezing her hand. "And I wouldn't want to do this with anyone else." As we looked out at the city lights, we felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. Our journey was far from over, but we were ready to face whatever came our way, armed with the lessons we had learned and the love that had sustained us. The future held endless possibilities, and we were eager to explore them together. With each challenge, we grew stronger, more united, and more committed to our shared vision of a happy, fulfilling life. As we embraced the road ahead, we knew that no matter what obstacles we encountered, we would face them together, with love and resilience as our guiding lights. Our story was one of redemption, growth, and unwavering love. It was a testament to the power of forgiveness and the strength of the human spirit. And as we continued our journey, we were confident that the best was yet to come. As the months went by, Kate and I continued to navigate the complexities of our new life. The challenges of balancing her demanding job, my responsibilities, and our family life tested us in ways we hadn't anticipated. However, our commitment to each other and our family remained unwavering. One Saturday morning, as we sat down for breakfast, Kate looked at me with a determined expression. "Alex, I think it's time we revisit our priorities. We need to find a better balance." I nodded, understanding her concern. "I agree. We've been doing well, but there's always room for improvement. What do you suggest?" "We should set aside dedicated family time each week," she said. "No work, no distractions, just us and the kids. and we should also make sure we have time for ourselves to recharge and reconnect. Her suggestion was a good one, and we spent the rest of the morning creating a schedule that allowed us to prioritize our family and personal well-being. We decided to designate Sunday afternoons as family time, a day for outings, games, and bonding. We also set aside Wednesday evenings as our date night, a time to focus on our relationship. Implementing these changes brought a positive shift in our lives. Sunday afternoons became a cherished time for all of us. We explored new parks, visited museums, and even started a family book club. The kids loved the attention and the activities, and it strengthened our bond as a family. Wednesday date nights became a sanctuary for Kate and me. We used the time to reconnect, share our thoughts and feelings, and enjoy each other's company. Sometimes we went out for dinner. Other times we stayed in and cooked together. These evenings reminded us of why we fell in love and reinforced our commitment to each other. One Wednesday evening, after a particularly enjoyable dinner, we sat on the porch sipping wine and watching the stars. Kate turned to me with a contented smile. "I've been thinking, Alex, we've come such a long way, and I feel like we're finally finding our balance." I nodded, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "We have. It's been a journey, but I'm grateful for every step. I love the life we're building together." She leaned in, resting her head on my shoulder. "I love it too, and I love you." As we sat there, wrapped in the tranquility of the moment, I felt a profound sense of peace. We had faced our demons, rebuilt our trust, and found a way to balance the demands of our lives. Our love had been tested and had emerged stronger, more resilient. The changes we made also extended to our pursuits. Kate and I encouraged each other to explore hobbies and interests that brought us joy and fulfillment. She took up painting, a passion she had long neglected, and I started writing, finding solace and expression in words. One evening, as I was working on a short story, Kate walked into the room, holding a canvas. "Look what I painted today," she said, her eyes shining with pride. I looked at the painting, a vibrant, colorful landscape that captured the beauty of nature. "Kate, this is incredible," I said, genuinely impressed. "You have such talent." She smiled, setting the canvas down. "Thank you, Alex. It feels so good to create again." "I'm glad you're doing something you love," I replied, pulling her into a hug. "We should always make time for the things that bring us joy." Our pursuits added a new dimension to our lives, enriching our personal growth and strengthening our relationships. We supported each other, celebrated each other's achievements, and found inspiration in our shared journey. As the seasons changed, so did we. Our lives were no longer defined by the pain of the past, but by the promise of the future. We continued to grow, to learn, and to love, always striving to find balance and harmony. One autumn afternoon, as we took a walk through the park, the leaves crunching under our feet, I looked at Kate and felt a surge of gratitude. "Kate, I just want to say how proud I am of us. We've faced so much, and yet here we are, stronger and happier than ever." She smiled, her eyes reflecting the golden hues of the season. "I'm proud of us too, Alex. We've built something beautiful, and I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else." As we walked hand in hand, I realized that our journey was far from over. There would be more challenges and more tests of our resilience, but I knew we would face them together. Our love, our commitment, and our shared vision for the future would guide us through whatever lay ahead. Finding balance wasn't about perfection. It was about navigating life's complexities with grace and determination. It was about cherishing the moments of joy, learning from the moments of pain, and always striving to grow and improve. Our story was one of redemption, growth, and unwavering love. It was a testament to the power of forgiveness, the strength of the human spirit, and the beauty of a life built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. As we continued our journey, we knew that the road ahead would be filled with both challenges and triumphs. But with each step, we grew stronger, more united, and more committed to the life we were building together. And as long as we had each other, we knew that anything was possible. With our new routines firmly in place and a renewed sense of balance in our lives, Kate and I began to look forward to the future with optimism. Our hard work and commitment to each other were paying off, and it was time to celebrate the milestones we had achieved along the way. One such milestone was our wedding anniversary, which was fast approaching. This year, it felt particularly significant given everything we had been through. We wanted to mark the occasion in a way that reflected our journey and the love we had rebuilt. "How about a weekend getaway?" Kate suggested one evening as we sat together planning the anniversary. "Somewhere peaceful, where we can relax and enjoy each other's company." "I love that idea," I replied, smiling. "Do you have a place in mind?" "I've heard great things about a charming bed and breakfast by the lake," she said, showing me photos on her phone. "It looks perfect for a quiet, romantic weekend." The bed and breakfast she suggested looked idyllic, with cozy rooms, beautiful gardens, and stunning lake views. It was exactly what we needed, a chance to reconnect and celebrate in a serene and intimate setting. As the date approached, we arranged for the kids to stay with Kate's parents for the weekend. They were excited about the visit, and it gave us peace of mind knowing they would be well taken care of. When the day finally arrived, we packed our bags and set off on our adventure. The drive to the bed and breakfast was picturesque, winding through scenic countryside and along the shores of the sparkling lake. We talked and laughed, reminiscing about our past anniversaries and the memories we had created together. Upon arrival, we were greeted warmly by the owners, who showed us to our charming room overlooking the lake. The room was beautifully decorated, with a comfortable bed, a fireplace, and a private balcony. It felt like a little slice of paradise. That evening, we enjoyed a delicious candle-lit dinner in the dining room, savoring each other's company and the delectable food. After dinner, we took a stroll along the lake, the moonlight casting a magical glow on the water. As we walked hand in hand, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for everything we had overcome and the love that had endured. "Kate, this weekend is perfect," I said, pulling her close. "I'm so happy we're here together, celebrating us." She smiled, her eyes filled with emotion. "Me too, Alex. This weekend is exactly what we needed. I'm grateful for every moment we've shared, the challenges we've faced, and the love we've rebuilt." The next morning, we woke up early to watch the sunrise from our balcony. The sky was painted in shades of pink and orange, and the stillness of the morning created a sense of peace and tranquility. We sat together, wrapped in a blanket, sipping coffee, and taking in the beauty of the moment. Later that day, we decided to explore the area, renting bicycles and riding along the scenic trails that surrounded the lake. We laughed as we navigated the winding paths, stopping to take pictures and enjoy the breathtaking views. In the afternoon, we returned to the bed and breakfast for a couple's massage. The soothing treatments helped us relax and unwind, leaving us both feeling rejuvenated and connected. As the sun began to set, we took a paddle boat out onto the lake, gliding across the calm waters. The golden light of the setting sun reflected off the surface, creating a picture-perfect moment. We talked about our hopes and dreams for the future, reaffirming our commitment to each other and the life we were building together. That evening, we sat by the fireplace in our room, sharing a bottle of wine and reflecting on our journey. "We've come such a long way," Kate said, her voice soft and thoughtful. "I'm so proud of us, Alex." "I am too," I replied, feeling a surge of love and admiration for her. "We've faced our darkest days and emerged stronger, and I know we'll continue to grow and thrive together." As we held each other, the warmth of the fire and the love we shared enveloping us, I felt a profound sense of contentment. This anniversary was more than just a celebration of our marriage. It was a testament to our resilience, our growth, and our unwavering commitment to each other. The next morning, as we prepared to leave the bed and breakfast, we felt a sense of renewal and optimism. The weekend had been everything we hoped for and more, and it had strengthened our bond in ways we hadn't imagined. As we drove back home, we talked about the future, excited about the milestones yet to come. We knew there would be challenges, but we also knew that together, we could face anything. Our return home was met with enthusiastic greetings from the kids, who were eager to hear about our trip. We shared stories and pictures, their excitement adding to our joy. In the days that followed, the sense of peace and connection we had found during our getaway remained with us. We continued to prioritize our family time, our date nights, and our pursuits, always striving to maintain the balance we had worked so hard to achieve. As we looked ahead, we felt confident in our ability to navigate the complexities of life together. Our journey had taught us the importance of resilience, communication, and love, and we were committed to carrying those lessons with us into the future. Celebrating milestones was not just about marking the passage of time, but about honoring the journey and the growth we had experienced. It was about recognizing the strength of our bond and the depth of our love. As we moved forward, we knew that each milestone, each challenge, and each triumph would be another chapter in the beautiful story of our lives together. With love as our guiding light, we were ready to embrace the future, hand in hand, hearts united. Our story was one of redemption, growth, and unwavering love. It was a testament to the power of forgiveness, the strength of the human spirit, and the beauty of a life built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. The anniversary trip had been a turning point, a reaffirmation of the strength and love that Kate and I shared. As we returned to our daily lives, we carried with us the lessons and experiences from that memorable weekend. The sense of renewal and connection fueled our commitment to each other and our family. As spring blossomed into summer, we decided it was time to take on a new project that symbolized our fresh start, renovating our home. It was something we had talked about for years, but now felt like the perfect time to make our house truly reflect the new beginning we were experiencing. "We should start with the living room," Kate suggested one evening as we sat together, sketching ideas. "It's the heart of our home, and it deserves a fresh look." I agreed, feeling a surge of excitement. "Let's do it. We can make it a family project, involve the kids in the planning and decorating." Over the next few weeks, we immersed ourselves in the renovation. We picked out new furniture, chose vibrant colors for the walls, and selected art pieces that resonated with our journey. Ethan and Lily eagerly joined in, their creativity adding a playful touch to the project. One Saturday morning, as we were painting the living room walls, Ethan turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Dad, why are we doing this now?" I paused, considering his question. "Well, buddy, sometimes making changes to our surroundings can help us feel renewed and refreshed. It's like a new beginning for our home, just like we've had a new beginning as a family." He nodded, seeming to understand. "I like it. It feels good to make things look nice." Kate smiled, giving Ethan a high five. "Exactly. It's a fresh start for all of us." As the living room took shape, it became a symbol of our resilience and growth. The bright colors and new furniture brought a sense of warmth and joy, reflecting the positivity we had cultivated in our lives. During this time, Kate received an invitation to speak at a prestigious conference about her work and experiences. It was an incredible opportunity for her, and I encouraged her to accept it. "Alex, are you sure?" she asked, her eyes filled with both excitement and concern. "It means I'll be away for a few days and things have been so busy." "Absolutely," I replied, taking her hand. "This is a wonderful opportunity for you, and we'll manage just fine. The kids and I will be cheering you on from here." She smiled, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you, Alex. Your support means everything to me." As Kate prepared for her trip, I took on the role of primary caregiver, managing the household and making sure everything ran smoothly. It was a challenging but rewarding experience, and it gave me a deeper appreciation for everything Kate did for our family. The day she left for the conference, the kids and I made a plan to surprise her with a final touch to our living room renovation, a family mural. We spent hours painting a beautiful scene that represented our journey and the love we shared. It was a collaborative effort, and the result was a vibrant, heartfelt piece of art that perfectly captured our story. When Kate returned, she was greeted with hugs and excited chatter from the kids. "Mom, come see what we made," Lily exclaimed, pulling her toward the living room. Kate's eyes widened in awe as she took in the mural. "This is incredible," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "You all did this together?" "Yes," I replied, wrapping an arm around her. "It's a representation of our journey, our new beginning." Tears glistened in her eyes as she looked at each of us. "I love it, and I love all of you. This is the best homecoming gift I could have asked for." As we stood together, admiring the mural, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The renovation project not only transformed our home, but also strengthened our bond as a family. It was a testament to our resilience, creativity, and the love that had carried us through the toughest times. In the weeks that followed, our lives settled into a new, harmonious rhythm. We continued to prioritize our family time, our pursuits, and our relationship. The balance we had worked so hard to achieve was paying off, bringing a sense of peace and joy to our everyday lives. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Kate turned to me with a contented smile. Alex, I feel so grateful for everything we have. Our journey hasn't been easy, but it's brought us here, to this beautiful life we've built together. I nodded, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. I feel the same way. We've come a long way, and I'm excited about the future. There's so much more to look forward to. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over our home, I felt a profound sense of peace. Our journey was far from over, but we were ready to embrace whatever came our way. With love, resilience, and a shared commitment to our family, we knew we could face any challenge. The future was bright, filled with endless possibilities, and as long as we had each other, we knew that anything was possible. Our story was one of redemption, growth, and unwavering love, a testament to the power of forgiveness and the strength of the human spirit. As we continued our journey, we were confident that the best was yet to come. With each new beginning, we found strength and joy in the life we were building together, hand in hand, heart to heart.